On today's installment of Meet the Machines, I share with you guys one of my dream guitars, the Gibson Les Paul Custom. Kids, it's your good buddy Uncle Ben Eller, and I could not be more excited to be here today because with the combined might of my dudes Josh and Kevin over at Sweetwater, I have attained one of my bucket list guitars, the most rock and roll machine ever, the Gibson Les Paul Custom. This is a brand new one that I just got from Sweetwater, and I could not be more impressed. After I got the guitar, I put up a little video for my Patreon community, which you can sign up for over at patreon.com/BenEllerGuitars, showing everybody the grand unveiling, and it seriously hasn't left my hands since. I've been playing this thing and recording on this thing non-stop. The tune that you heard at the start of this video is a song of mine that I'm working on right now, kind of a work in progress. That's just a few segments of the song and I can't wait to finish it up. The audio on that was mixed and mastered by my good buddy Eric Hill over at Blue Room Recording Studios, by the way. Hit him up for all your audio needs. I've wanted a Les Paul Custom for years and years. Honestly, ever since I figured out why Les Pauls are so amazing. I've wanted one in black with the gold hardware and stuff. It's just the right guitar for any gig. I always say nobody ever lost a gig for showing up with a Les Paul, right? And I gotta say, I was a little bit skeptical about getting a brand new Gibson guitar because over the past decade or so, whenever they were doing the robot tuners and changing the wiring and all that kind of stuff, I wasn't really into that. I just wanted a classic, huge slab of mahogany and maple, classic Les Paul. And a couple weeks ago on my channel, I put up that John Sykes riff retrospective using that Les Paul tribute that my buddy Mitch just got. And I was so blown away by that guitar that it was like, Gibson's back. They're doing really, really good stuff again. So in today's video, I just want to show you guys how freaking awesome this thing sounds through a couple of my different amps, giving you some riffs and some leads and all kinds of hot stuff. I've got the guitar tuned down one whole step right now because I'm working on some more Mastodon content for you guys. Let's plug this thing up through a couple of different amps and see what it sounds like. Let's start off here with some clean tones on the good old Axe FX 3. I'll kick us off here on the neck pickup. Really lovely clean tones. I don't really know much anything about Gibson pickups, honestly. This apparently has the 490 and 498 humbuckers in there, whatever that means. All it means to me is that they sound really awesome. I got no plans to change any of this stuff out anytime soon. The first thing that I gotta mention here is that straight out of the case, the guitar came set up great from Sweetwater. I haven't had to do any adjusting on the neck yet. It actually looks like it has a little bit more bow to it than I typically keep on my guitars, but it feels really good, so I'm not gonna mess with it. I did my usual stuff and I lowered the bridge just a little bit. It honestly wasn't much. And actually I tried lowering it like ridiculously low just to see if it could handle it and the fretwork could keep up with having strings that low to the board. And yeah, I was able to get it like uncomfortably low, like way lower than I would ever want, and no notes, you know, fretted out or like choked out whenever I was doing bends and stuff. The fretwork on it is stellar, so I took it back up to where it's a little bit more comfy for me to play on, feels more like my other guitars. That's enough of the clean stuff. Let's try it out through this Mesa Boogie dual rectifier. I'm running into I've got an ISP noise decimator here on my board, as well as a Boss SD1, one of the best boost pedals ever, just for a little bit of extra oomph and tightening in front of the Mesa. Just the girth, right? The chunk that you get when you have a slab of mahogany and maple that's that thick. God, nothing sounds like a Les Paul. So as you can hear, it does the high gain stuff extremely well. The pickups aren't like nuts hot, but they're not really low output like vintage PAFs either. I'd kind of like to know what the magnet and resistance and all that kind of stuff is going on with these, but they sound really good and really clear even with all that gain and crap piled onto there. Spec-wise, it's just what you would expect. The neck and body are made out of mahogany. It has a plain maple top under this ebony finish. It has an ebony fretboard with those beautiful pearl inlays. We got gold hardware all over this thing. 3-way pickup selector, just traditional 2-volume 2-tone. It's a Les Paul, right? Like, you don't really need to do much to it to make it amazing. They're just kind of made to be rock and roll machines. Grover tuners on there from the factory. Cool little touch. And on the back here, on the plate, it came with this very special, like, 70th edition, 1952 through 2022 logo here on the control plate. Pretty cool. I've not put it on a scale yet to weigh it. It's got a pretty good amount of heft to it. It's not like a total backbreaker, though. I think according to the Gibson website, they do a little bit of weight relief to these. It's got, I think they said it was like 6 or 9 hole weight relief, which is where basically they just kind of drill a few holes in the mahogany body part just to make it a little lighter. It's not nearly as like weight relieved as that Les Paul Tribute that Mitch had, so it's still got a pretty substantial chunk to it. It's got the, I think they call it the even taper neck on there, which is my favorite. It's like a little bit thinner. It's got a nice rounded profile on the back. My other Les Paul that I have, the Sunburst one, it's got like the 1950s neck, which feels like It's like playing like a mechanic's forearm or something. It's pretty chunky, so it's kind of a nice contrast to have something a little thinner. Now there's a certain magic that happens, in my opinion, whenever a Les Paul meets a British style amp, like let's say my Friedman BE-100 right here, which is an American amp, but you know what I mean. Let's try that thing out. Ooh, man, that sounds really, really good. The Friedmans just do that like brown sound, classic Van Halen thing too damn well, and that's like my comfort food when it comes to tone. So yeah, a Les Paul through that kind of amp is just perfect rock fury in my opinion. Yeah, that just sounds freaking amazing. I could play on that tone like all day. Again, just killer tones through like every shade of rock, everything from like Mastodon to ZZ Top to bluesy stuff. Again, it's the right guitar for whatever gig that you're on. So you heard the dual rec doing the classic American huge low end 6L6 thing. You've heard the Friedman doing the British EL34 kind of tone. Now let's split the difference and try out the new Mesa Badlander, which is an American amp with EL34 tubes in it. So it's kind of, as Sammy Hagar once said, the best of both worlds. Well, hi, it's Sora. Hi, big dog. Big dogs like Les Pauls do. Don't you? Yeah. You might have been able to notice I'm knocking some of those double stops out of tune a little bit just because I'm over fretting. Like I said, this is just 10 through 46 strings on here, tuned down a whole step, which on the 24 and 3/4 inch scale length gets a little loose. I think if I'm gonna keep it in this tuning, I might try to put like 11s or something on there. Still really fun to play on those. Fun to play on those big slinky strings. Let's drop it down to C and see what happens. Good God, that is meatier than the buffet over at the Golden Corral. I'm interested to see what you guys think is the best sounding combination. Is it the Badlander? Is it the dual rec? Is it the Friedman? Whatever it is, just let me know down in the comments. There you go, guys, a guided tour of my new prized possession, my brand new Gibson Les Paul Custom. Again, huge thanks to the fine folks at Sweetwater. Make your next musical instrument purchase come from there, guys. Seriously, they give a damn more than anybody out there. Can't beat them. Thank you guys so much for watching this installment of Meet the Machines. Be sure to let me know in the comments section what you would like to see featured next. Is it a particular pedal you've been jonesing to check out? Maybe one of my guitars you've seen in some of my videos? One of these cool amps? Whatever it is, just let me know and we'll cover it on a future installment of Meet the Machines. Thank you guys so much for liking this video. Be sure to subscribe and ring the bell for notifications every time I upload a new slice of fried gold. And if you want to help support my channel and get access to a ton of extra cool stuff, be sure to join up to that Patreon page today over at patreon.com/Ben Eller Guitars. Thanks again for watching. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got a song to be finishing up. As for you, I suggest getting away from the internet machine and going to play some guitar. Less clicking, more picking.